Hey everybody. I felt like telling you a story today. Just a kind of little stem story to I don't know. Just felt like talking about it. My first car was a Mercedes-Benz 1995. And this baby was absolutely horrible. Just pathetic. It was a junker. It was a junker, okay? A jalopy, an actual death trap, and not like a fun death trap, like a guy dressed up as death, but in female version. I mean the one that might actually get you killed, like fiery inferno of death and all that fun stuff. You get where I'm coming from, right? All right, we're good. Now this isn't too terribly important. Um, I never actually really got in any accidents that were my fault. The few that happened while I was in this absolute mechanical monstrosity ended up not being my fault. So that was kind of cool. Uh, Again, more on topic. You need to know that I have an ex girlfriend. That's all you need to know about it. We don't need to get into the emotional trauma of the situation. You do need to know also, though, that she went to college in Valdosta, Georgia. Now, Valdosta, Georgia is about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive from Yulee, where I lived at the time of being with this girl. Now, what this means is I had a car, if you can even call it that. She lived in the college dorm in the Valdosta, Georgies, and I was expected to make the drive. Now, this isn't a problem. Of course, I'm going to make the drive for my loving girlfriend. Be what it be, right? The problem is, there's no way I'm getting on the highway in this thing. Like, this is a death trap. My car is a death trap. Well, at the time. I have a much better one now. Point is, I knew that highway driving wasn't going to happen. I'd end up being a fiery inferno on the side of the street, and I would have caused mayhem and murder all the way through. So I found a route that was mainly just backcountry roads. The old beat up dirt service roads that just somehow lead where you're supposed to go because of weird intersections that you're not even sure if they're legally there or not, but people use them enough that they're on Google Maps now. Those. Those roads. Now, most of the time I had to make this drive pretty late. I'd get off of work at where I was working at the karate school. Um, at like 7 or 8, depending on the day, 7 or 8 at night. And then I had to go home first because I needed to take a shower. I needed to probably stuff something in my face, just make sure I had everything because I was going to stay the weekend most likely. And we'd chill, we'd hang, we'd do stuff, and then I'd go home and go back to work, right? You get the idea. Point is, point is, I normally would end up starting this drive at around 10 or sometimes even 11 because a lot of times I had to go home and do stuff for my family before I could leave because I was busy the rest of the week. And you get the idea. I'm not going to be here for a weekend. Anything you need Sleepy to do, you get him to do now. That's the idea. So I was pretty used to taking this drive late at night. There weren't street lights. The only light I had was from my headlights. And I want to say around the 6th or 7th time I made this drive, not counting on the ways back, just trips too, my headlights went at the exact same time. Now, I was about halfway through and I was on this long stretch of road. There's just huge old pine and oak trees stretching over me. There ain't nothing for miles. This is a straightaway. The speed limit's fucking 80. And, like, there's no one here. No one. Nothing at all. And my headlights are out. Um, I try to flip to my high beams, thinking that that will work because they're separate bulbs. They don't work. So obviously, the problem isn't with the bulbs, which makes sense since both went out at the same time. It's some sort of electrical issue. I did figure it out eventually, but I'm not a mechanic nor an electrician. So I'm a little spookadooked, right? I'm like, what the flip flop do I do? Do I just wait here till it's morning? Now, my car doesn't have a radio. I had no internet connection or cell service out where I was either. I didn't have AC. The windows didn't even try to roll down. So if I tried to stay in this car for any longer than I had to, it was an actual death trap. I mean, this was Florida. It was the middle of summer. It doesn't matter that it's late. It's still hot as fucking balls. I'm dying already. And like, I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to survive here. Now, it's dark and it's cloudy, so I'm not even getting a little bit of moonlight, but I can still kind of see. So I decide what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop her low, okay? I'm going to drop it low. I'm going to go like 15, 20 miles an hour and just see how far I can get. And I'm going to be as careful as I possibly can. Now, is this a bad idea? Probably. Probably. Like, let's be real here. Yeah, it's a bad idea, but I did it, so I want to say I was driving for about 30 minutes, about half an hour before I realized this I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I know that this straight bit of road doesn't last much longer, and it starts to get kind of twisty and curvy for a bit. Like I've made this drive, I know this, and I know there ain't no fucking way in hell I'm gonna be able to stay in my lane without seeing anything. And also, there's huge ditches on either side on this twisty turny place. I'm gonna just die. So you're probably thinking you must have just stayed the night in the car, right? Right? No, no, that's quitter talk, bitch. It's quitter talk. You know what I did? I put my car in neutral and I started pushing it. I'm not kidding. I put my car in neutral and I started pushing it. Now, this is an old Mercedes Benz, guys. This is 1995. This thing was an all steel body. It was super heavy. This was horrid. It was kind of sticky too, like even when it was driving. So, like, pushing this thing was actual hell. But when I was outside, I could use my phone with what little battery it had left because I couldn't charge it in the car either. As a flashlight, and I could push it. And I think legitimately I was probably pushing it faster than I was crawling before. It takes me like 2 hours. I push this thing for 2 hours. It's not a joke. I do this. Okay? I do this. It takes me about 2 hours, and some of the clouds have parted. And I'm past most of the bullshit that I know of, and I'm actually pretty close to where I know a rest stop is. And this rest stop has a 24-hour gas station. And I'm thinking, if I can't call somebody on my phone when I get there, they're gonna have a phone. I can figure something out, right? Right, I can figure something out, okay? Like this can be done. This can be done. So I get back in the car and I have a little bit of moonlight because the clouds have parted, and I make my way to the rest stop. It takes me 45 minutes, which should have been like a 10-minute drive from where I was. That's how slow I was going. That's how safe I was being, people. And when I get there, you ain't gonna believe it. You're not. I had no signal. And the gas station owner, his phone wasn't working. Neither his cell phone or the shop phone. So I couldn't like call like AAA or anything to, you know, solve the problem or anything. And like so I'm just sitting there back in my car and I'm just thinking. Like I'm really fucking close to the colleague. And like I'm also pretty confident that if I had some time and a YouTube tutorial, I could probably fix whatever's wrong with this thing because I'm a pretty scrappy candid dude. So I'm thinking, what in the fuck can I do? And so I go back into this gas station. It's a gas station. It doesn't have mechanical parts. It doesn't have anything. I don't have any tools on me either. So it's not even like I could just open up the YouTube tutorial right here and try to figure it out. I can't call anybody either. And again, I have no connection. So even if I did have tools, YouTube's not gonna happen. But I noticed something in the store. I noticed something. A roll of duct tape. And a whole bunch of cheap, tiny, like yay big LED flashlights. Yeah, you know where this is going. You know where this is going. Yeah, it's going exactly where you thought. I spent $50 on about 20 or so flashlights. Turned them all off. They all came with batteries, which was nice. Taped them to the top of my car. And I finished that drive seeing better than I had ever seen before, because these things were way better than my headlights. We're not done, though. The story's not done. Remember, these were cheap little shits. I want to say I had just made it into town. Now, Valdosta is a college town. They have a college town in there around the college. It's not super great. It's not the funnest place to hang out. It's not like a fun college town or anything like that. It's also not super developed all over the place, meaning it's not that well lit when it's late. Because at this time, I want to say it's like 3 or 4 a.m. and the sun has not come up yet. It's still pitch black for the most part, and it's pretty dark. The sun will be here soon, around 5-ish, but we're not here yet. Yeah, we're not there yet. My flashlights start to give out on me. Now, I don't remember exactly how long they were on, but apparently these little guys did not have a lot of juice in them. They'd probably been on the shelf for who knows how long with the batteries they came with still inside of them, so I kind of get it. But slowly but surely, I'm watching my line of flashlights on my hood just here's one out, here's one out, here's another one out, here's their one out. It's just going crazy, man. And I'm not sure how much longer I got. So my brain goes, smart decision. Park car, walk to colleague, figure this out later. Then brain goes, dumb decision. Speed race your way to the college before you run out of lights, boy. Which one do you think it took? If you picked A, smart decision, you'll be dumb. If you picked B, dumb decision, you'll be smart. Isn't that nice? I speed raced the whole way. Here's the deal. There was no one on the roads. No one. I was alone. I'm not even kidding. There weren't people walking. There wasn't a scooter. There wasn't a moped. There wasn't a random squirrel named Jeffrey watching me. I sped raced the whole way, man. I mean, I Tokyo drift, except I couldn't actually Tokyo drift because this thing barely survived this. But the point is, I went quick. I went fast. Sonic would have been proud. He probably is proud. The point is, by the time I made it to the Colleague of Power, well, the dorm specifically, and I had parked, which was a traumatic experience. I had exactly one of my 20 flashlights still on. That's not a joke. I had one of my 20 flashlights, the one directly in the middle, because symmetry, baby, was still shining bright. And to this day, I have no idea where that flashlight is. I put it in my pocket and then I just immediately lost it. And the other flashlights I left on the car and they were gone the next day. Someone probably stole them. Yeah. But it makes for a good story, doesn't it? Thanks for listening.